70, and even for a very short time minus 85. Is that right? No problem. Now listen very carefully with both ears. Listen. When a lot of sodium was coming in, it means this piece of the membrane was getting depolarized. When this piece of the membrane was getting depolarized, sodium was coming in. This sodium which came in does not need any kind of visa to move forward. So what happened? The sodium which came in, like the floating ducks, it floats on the sides for 1 or 2 millimeter. This depolarizing current of sodium brings enough sodium in that this sodium, without any visa and permission, moves on the adjacent membrane. When it moves to the adjacent piece of the membrane, there are voltage gated sodium channels here. They will suddenly open. A lot of sodium will come in. So second part of the membrane will undergo depolarization. The sodium which has come here, it will take the third piece from resting to threshold, and lot of sodium will come herein. The sodium which come through the third patch of the membrane, which is producing the depolarization of third patch of the membrane, right? This sodium floats a little bit ahead in the neighboring membrane and take the resting membrane potential here up to threshold. Then this piece of the membrane undergoes depolarization. And when fourth piece of the membrane undergoes depolarization, this depolarizing current provides enough sodium to take the next neighboring piece of the membrane from resting to threshold. And then voltage gated sodium channels open here and sodium comes in. So what is really happening? Someone was kind enough to touch only here, and the electrical changes will move automatically. Again, what happened? When you depolarize one part of a membrane, this piece of the membrane undergoes repolarization, but its adjacent piece, resting membrane potential, goes to threshold. Again, let's suppose now this is my arm, and inside it there is a neuron which is taking information to the central nervous system. Someone touched here. So first of all, someone when touched here, I will not tell the name of the person who touched, but anyway, when someone touched here, yeah, you are laughing, people touch me also. Not only young people like you. Yeah, he thinks only young people are touched. Right, listen. So when someone touched here, and it produced a local fluctuation. If local depolarizing current was enough to produce what? Resting membrane potential to bring it up to threshold, then this piece of the neuron which was present in this piece, that piece of the neuron went under neuronal membrane, went under depolarization. When that went into depolarization, little sodium moved forward. That brought the next membrane to threshold, and second piece went under depolarization again. When first piece undergoes depolarization, depolarizing sodium which came in makes a second next piece of the membrane into from resting to threshold, and then what happens? Second undergoes depolarization, and when second undergoes depolarization, it takes the third next area of the membrane from resting to threshold. Then third area undergoes depolarization. Then third area which undergoes depolarization, its sodium takes the next membrane piece, neighboring piece, from resting to threshold, and that opens its voltage gated channel and it produces depolarization. So what really happens? That you have to apply energy only at one part, but signal will move throughout the membrane of the neuron. You get it? What is the signal? Signal is depolarizing current. That when you produced enough stimulus here and you took this piece of the membrane from resting to threshold, and this area went into depolarization. Once membrane gets depolarized, depolarization automatically sweeps from the membrane. Depolarization automatically. This is a membrane. What is this? This is a potential fluctuation in a membrane which is in action. It will travel. It will not remain localized. So what is action potential? Action potential is electrochemical changes in excitable cells membrane, in which depolarization is followed by repolarization, and this depolarizing current followed by repolarizing current moves on the membrane. Is that right? Again, when you produced stimulus here, you took the resting membrane potential up to threshold by the stimulus energy. Once one part of a membrane goes under threshold, that part of the membrane undergoes depolarization. Once this part has completed its depolarization, just listen, when this part has completed its depolarization, it takes a next part of the membrane into from resting to threshold. So second part start undergoing depolarization, but for first part voltage gated, potassium channels open, and it start going under repolarization. So when first part is undergoing repolarization, second part is undergoing depolarization. Is that right? When second part triggers the depolarization in third, it itself undergoes repolarization. When third part undergoes depolarization, it triggers the depolarization into fourth, and itself undergoes repolarization, so and so forth. So what is happening? That there is a wave of depolarization which sweeps over the membrane. There is a wave of depolarization which sweeps over the membrane. But more truly speaking, a wave of depolarization followed by a wave of repolarization sweeps over the membrane. So we gave stimulus here, but these electrochemical fluctuations goes to central nervous system. So these electrochemical fluctuations in the membranes, which are called depolarization and repolarization, or they are called simply action potential. This we can say the local potential, if it reaches to threshold, it produces action potential, and action potential sweeps over the membrane and it takes a signal towards the central nervous system. Am I clear? No problem in understanding this? Okay. Now let me explain it more clearly. What really happens, that as depolarizing current goes to the central nervous system, it is followed by repolarization. You can imagine in another way. Another way, the way I look at it, that if you are standing here, okay, here you are with your long nose.